This is a newscast from Radio Berlin International, the voice of the German Democratic Republic. The GDR's Democratic Women's Federation has issued a document looking ahead to the GDR's 40th anniversary next year. It notes that women have an equal share in the country's social development and that the well-being of the people, peace and freedom, democracy and human rights are supreme objectives. Women are called upon to continue to work for the further development of socialism and to exercise solidarity with those women throughout the world who are fighting for independence and social progress. To mark May Day, outstanding individuals and work teams have been awarded high GDR distinctions. In an address, the GDR Prime Minister Willi Stoph spoke of excellent performances in all fields of the national economy. He said that the GDR's paramount objective was to guarantee the development of popular creativity and material security. And finally, this year's Handel Festival in Halle, early in June, will feature performances by orchestras, operatic companies and soloists from the Soviet Union, France and the United States, amongst other countries. Besides operas, oratorios and choral and orchestral works by Handel, the festival program also includes music by Bach and Telemann, as well as some modern compositions by Paul Dessau and others. There will be a colloquium on Handel's operas, and the city of Halle will award its annual Handel Prize. And here to wind up the news, the main points once again. The GDR leader Erich Honecker has said that 1988 should be made a year of disarmament. A United Nations seminar in Berlin on the Palestine issue has stressed the need for an international Middle East conference. In Lisbon, the president of the GDR Parliament, Horst Zindermann, has invited his Portuguese counterpart to the International Conference on Nuclear-Free Zones to be held in Berlin in June. And the GDR's Liberal Democratic Party, some 3,500 working people were released and were now being qualified in good time for the new posts. And here to wind up the news, the main points once again. Members of the GDR party and state leadership have paid a visit of condolence to the PLO embassy in Berlin on the death of PLO deputy leader Khalil al-Wazir. A GDR Foreign Ministry spokesman has expressed deep concern over the serious deterioration of the situation in the Israeli-occupied Arab territories. The GDR and Czechoslovakia have proposed to the Federal Republic of Germany that official negotiations should begin on a chemical weapon-free zone on the territories of the three countries. And the GDR's Democratic Farmers Party has demanded the release of the Sharpeville 6.
You're tuned to the European service of Radio Berlin International, the voice of the German Democratic Republic. Time now for a break, and it gives me great pleasure to send birthday greetings to one of our listeners who's hung one more year on the line today. All the best to you, Mike Shepherd, over there in Cwmbran, Wales, and I hope you'll like the following piece of music I've looked out for you. It's by the Blue Wonder Jazz Band from the DDR, and it's called You're Nobody's Sweetheart, but I can't vouch for the ladies in the department, Mike.
Mochalefa Reginald Sefatsu, Opa Moses Denisu, Wright Malebu Mokoena, Duma Joshua Kumalo and Francis Don Mokesi is still on and must be further strengthened. Worldwide protests have stayed the execution and a sigh of relief is going around the world. Millions of people and governments, including the people and government of the German Democratic Republic, have demanded to save the lives of the Sharpeville 6. The demand now is for repealing the death sentence. The demand now is for their liberation and the liberation of all political prisoners in South Africa. ANC leader Nelson Mandela will be 70 this summer. He has spent 1/3 of his life in prison. Nelson Mandela must be freed, together with thousands of his fellow inmates. They must not share the fate of those who died in prison as a result of maltreatment or torture. Most Germans had languished in Nazi prisons and concentration camps. They had been involved in clandestine struggle, fought at the side of the Soviet armed forces and their American, British or French allies. On the day of their liberation, inmates of concentration camps at Buchenwald and other places pledged to make every effort to prevent a repetition of Nazism and war. Paying tribute to the anti-fascist resistance fighters, the GDR's first Prime Minister Otto Grotewohl said their sacrifices had created the basis for the renewal of other nations' confidence in a new Germany. Their anti-fascist message, Otto Grotewohl emphasized, should be cherished and carried on by future generations. This legacy has been fulfilled in the GDR. Young people in this country are being educated in the spirit of humanism. Condemnation of Nazi war crimes and crimes against humanity goes hand in hand with paying tribute to communists, social democrats, trade unionists, liberals and Christians who set their face against the Nazi scourge and often gave their lives in the struggle. The memory is kept alive of the Nazi Holocaust, the wholesale slaughter of millions of Jewish people. Survivors are respected citizens in this country and enjoy the socialist government's care and support. The GDR came into being in 1949 as a state committed to anti-fascism and the struggle for peace and humanism. This commitment is exemplified by the GDR leaders Erich Honecker, Horst Zindermann and Willi Stoph. This commitment is shown by putting people first in the country, by guaranteeing political and religious freedoms, securing the fundamental human rights, providing jobs for the people, giving them decent homes, health care, high standards of education and social protection. All this is part of our reality, and these achievements are here to stay. Anti-fascism and humanism are good principles which will always be close to our hearts.
That commentary came to you in the European Service of Radio Berlin International.